In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a piece of software called Tablet Pro Studio. And I find this software is really revolutionary in allowing tablet pen-enabled users to really control their devices the way they want. The way it works is you have this sidebar on the side that varies between what app you're using, but it gives you all the controls you need right at the tip of your pen. There's also a radial menu that lets you choose between different tools. For instance, this brush tool. You can also change the width of the brush tool right from that radial menu. Super quick to change between these things. So I just made it large here, and it's just super easy. You don't have to leave your flow. You can choose your colors, and all of this is totally configurable. Here I'm going to choose a different color. It's pretty clear how this can save you a ton of time as a pen user rather than clicking around in menus or using your keyboard. I find it super revolutionary for people who like using their pen a lot. Hey, Cameron here with cbutterstech. Today we are taking a look at a really cool piece of software, and with us on the channel today here is Justice, also known as Tablet Pro. And you may have seen we've done a couple of videos together. We have pretty similar interests. We both are really into convertible tablets. And Justice is actually, you know, he's doing this full time. He's built some pretty neat software that lots of people are finding super useful. And I wanted to go over that today because I think you, as my viewers who have seen a lot of the devices that we cover on this channel, I think you'll be interested in what Tablet Pro has to offer. So I wanted to invite him onto the channel to kind of show off what he's been working on. And Justice, why don't you tell us a little bit about this application that you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a digital artist and tablet user for 20 plus years, since well, I think it was like the Toshiba Protege, way back in the day. And there's been some really great advancements in tablet, but how we input on a tablet hasn't really evolved as fast as I've been wanting it to. And so I took up this project kind of by necessity a while ago. I found myself trying to work without having a whole setup on my lap, because it's really frustrating to move everything off your lap to get up to do something that lasts 2 seconds. So we started making, me and another guy started making some tools to make using your tablet a whole lot more useful, instead of just like you have to use the tablet to get something done, but it's really slow. So it's something I've been doing as a labor of love for a long time, and just like Cameron said, went into this full time fairly recently.
Yeah, and it's actually surprising how, I mean, you're fulfilling a niche here, and we'll go over the program in a little bit here. But a lot of artists, like they're constant. A lot of them like don't even like to fold their tablet completely into tablet mode because they still want to be able to use the keyboard, or they're like
Right.
constantly
Yeah.
hunting and pecking on keys when, if you're using your software, it really eliminates the need for that, and you can very quickly do all sorts of things. And that's what I found really useful when we looked at it together the last time.
Yeah, there's a number of use cases. Like I had a Surface Book, 1, 2, and skip the third one, and have the laptop studio at the moment. And when you were in the tablet mode of the Surface Book, the keyboard was gone. Like there was no
Yeah.
fast way. Like you have to undo, and it takes you like 2 minutes of frustrating pecking and poking and button pushes and trying to detach the screen to get to the keyboard. And the touch keyboard was not developed well. It's a little better now, but nowhere near the same thing as just having an always accessible panel of touch buttons on the side, or some of the other tools that we've developed since then. One that I'm really, really excited about, because I like hyper focusing. Like I like having my entire canvas screen available if I'm note taking or I'm drawing. And so we just made this new tool that lets me not change my eyes from where I'm writing or drawing, and it's been so refreshing to use. It's super fun. And because I'm the one developing, every time that I get to a problem, I'm like, oh, this is annoying. This is super difficult. Then we develop it further, and and it works the way that I want. So it's cool. And it's neat not having to rely on somebody else to fix the problem that's bothering me.
Yeah, that's really fun. Well, I think what we could do here today is you could walk me through the setup process, and then we can go over some of the features and some of the best use cases that you see for this.
Probably the best way to do it is to send people to the website. So go to tabletpro.com.
Okay. Yeah. So right now, just so everyone can see, we're operating on an X13, and this is where we're going to kind of stage this software and see what it looks like. So let me switch over to a different view, and we'll get going on that. All right. Get it from Microsoft.
Right,
is that link that we want?
Yep, that button in the corner. You do Tablet Pro Studio, but you might need a space between Tablet and Pro.
Oh, gotcha.
And we've had a number of different apps, and the Studio app actually combines everything. So this is a long-standing request from people who use the app. By the way, I expect a nice review from you at some point.
Sounds good. All right, so so basically, what someone does, they just go to the Microsoft Store, search for Tablet Pro Studio, and that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've tried to make each of the different ways that you can find it make sense.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and open this, and there it is right there.
And then there's a second component. This one also is in the Microsoft Store. We used to have this component on the desktop, like you'd have to download it from the website, and we just recently were able to get it into the store, which is great because I think it's just a lot more secure, and the apps update through the updater inside of the Microsoft Store.
And tell me what Studio is versus Touch is, just so the viewers can kind of wrap their head around that.
Okay. So the first program we started with was Tablet Pro Touch, which had a different name back in the past. So here, new users, you will want to watch the setup guide. So you would click on that Watch Setup Guide button. We can skip that.
We've got the expert here, so we don't need to watch the setup guide.
Yeah.
Although, if you watch the setup guide, I think you'll see justice anyway. So,
yeah, yeah. If you're watching this video, you're probably going to learn everything that's in the setup guide. So, that's a positive. But it's in the right-hand corner, Quick Start Guide. That's going to bring you to the same video. Okay, so the Touch panel, the Touch app, is basically, it hosts a number of the different features. And so the Studio app it's a suite of tools. So we have a handful of different things, and instead of having them all over the place, because I've noticed that there's a number of ways that you can accomplish certain things, but I didn't like having 10 or 15 apps from different manufacturers on my machine trying to do something, and none of it was homogenized, which means you would create a solution in one spot, and then you had to recreate the solution in a second spot, then recreate it in a third. And I'm like, this is so much work. This should all be linked together. And so that's part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so you do it once, and then it works in a number of different ways with voice and touch and handwriting and radio menu and all sorts of different tools. Okay, so that looks like that installed. So for Cameron to open, let's say we start with OneNote. Okay. OneNote's one of my favorite apps. So that list there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you would double click on that. And there you go. Okay. And so let's pick a prettier one than this one.
All right.
Your machine is what resolution?
Right now it's at 1080p for video
1080p.
purposes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. On the right where it says the word browse next to the pen buttons, there it says OneNote 2400 by 1600. Go ahead and click there. Any one of these. Let's do OneNote Unified 2400 by 1600. So the reason there's a number in there is because a lot of these buttons do something special that doesn't that works for buttons that don't have keyboard shortcuts. So it's kind of a fancy feature that we call click location. All right, so you can go ahead and close this panel, the main panel. And the app itself will open and close automatically based on the program that you have open. So OneNote should work for OneNote without you having to do anything. If you want to keep it from doing that.
So if I minimized OneNote or closed it, is it does that disappear? Is that what you're saying, or what do?
It can. There's settings so that when it doesn't see an app, it'll revert to the default, and you can decide what the default is, whether it's completely hidden or it's a specific touchpad, which we call artist pads. Okay. In the top left corner, you see the gear and the word OneNote. Click on the word OneNote.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's click on the word main panel on the bottom in the middle.
Gotcha.
There's a number of ways to do this. Okay, for barrel button, let's set that to radio menu.
And basically what we're doing is we're setting up the options where you'll actually get a dial that comes up when you right click. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, and we have an update processing in the Microsoft Store right now that will have this set up already. So future users should be able to just press the button and get to where we're going. So there in the middle is barrel and invert. And next to the word barrel, it says input mode. And if you press the button next to the screen, yeah, barrel will light up. Go near the very bottom, it says radio menu. Again, this will be pre-selected. Okay, and then let's go ahead and close this again. All right, and this is just letting you know, that little screen was just letting you know. Yeah, go ahead, double tap right in the red center. All right, there you go.
Okay.
Nice. Very cool. Okay, so if you click on some of those buttons, they're going to click locations on the screen. Because you have a different size screen, we'll have to set that up. So let's set that up real quickly. Now there's a little trick to getting into the editing. And once you're done with this part's actually quite easy.
So just right off the bat, just so like this radio menu is already super useful because like say you're drawing, you're writing something and then you screw something up, you can just right click right on your pen and hit that undo button, and then it's like it was that quick. You don't need to go searching around for any.
Press and hold the stylus button, and then tap the X.
The X.
And then tap the
gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, and that opens the editor. You can do it in the top left corner of the artist pad.
So that's the same thing as this setting up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a little bit easier way because you're not always using both at the same time. Okay, so we have those little pen icons. Let's move this to the right a little bit. The mini layout editor. There we go. Okay. So let's select the pens. There's a blue eraser actually already selected. Let's start with that one. Yeah. So let's click on mouse coordinates, like 4 items up. There's a little circle that you're going to drag from there over to the eraser icon inside of OneNote. Yep, and release. Okay, let's tap on the pencil icon, and there's 12 icons listed there. That's called the Docker. So bottom right, You can see the blue eraser. Yep, select there. Now you can see that's in right above there. You see the single one that you just looked at before, the blue one with the blue line.
Mm-hmm.
That blue line signifies the color of the icon. And so let's align that with the blue pen in OneNote. So we're going to do the same thing, drag over there. Good. Let's select the other pen right next to it in the Docker. Yep, you see that one's orange. Let's drag that one to the red pen in OneNote. Good. And then let's do one more thing. Let's select the mouse pointer up and to the right on the Docker. Yep, and drag that to type next to the lasso tool. Good. Okay, now there's update to radio menu right above the Docker. It's an orange font with a little circle next to it, right above the pointer.
Sorry, I'm missing it. Where exactly?
All right, so you see the Docker where we were just selecting the different icons?
Oh, right here.
Mm-hmm. Click there.
So basically, what we've done here, just to kind of summarize it, we've selected different tools, and we're telling it basically where it can use those inside the OneNote application. So we just mapped it to different touches.
Yeah, in the past that was a very painful process. Like it took multiple tools and all sorts of hoop jumping.
Okay, so we click update to radio menu. Do I need to hit apply now?
Nope, you can just close the window
Okay.
and let's try it.
Okay, so we can try, like the first we had the pen, which goes to the colored pen, which that definitely did. And if we go to the orange pen, that should now go to this red correcting pen, which it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then select the eraser.
And very easily switching to eraser. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really very easy to set up, but there's a lot of power, a lot of options here, so don't be
It's just a matter
intimidated.
of there's a lot going on, but there's so much going on with different. I mean, it works with so many pieces of software that
Right.
it makes it really neat. So not only do we have the radio menu that we're kind of playing with here, but at the same time, we also have all these things on the left hand side that are configured as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the idea is that if you start with the artist pad on the left, if you start with that, then when you import those things to the radio menu, so let's show that real quick.
Okay.
That way, everything is carrying over and is working without setting it up in every place. So you can let's start with the gear icon in the left, on the left. Okay, and then we have items on the artist pad. So we're going to use the button that says pick button, the big orange button. And let's pick the hand tool. It's the green hand tool on the left. Yep, we're going to select that. Good. Okay, so then over here we have a hand tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we map that one, although you actually have to have it on OneNote. I think you don't have it there. Can you move the panel down? Yep, no hand tool. All right, that's okay. Let's do lasso select.
Okay, so you want me to do this thing where I align it to that?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so then that button has updated. So when on the left you press the hand icon, it'll go to lasso select. So go ahead and try that. You can do that right now.
Close this.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Okay, so that selects the lasso tool.
Yep.
Okay, now if we wanted to put that on the radio menu, then we'd go back to the mini layout editor and then go to additional operation up at the very, very top. And it says none, and you'd select add to Docker /radio. So that would let you put it on the radio menu, then you would do update to radio menu, and you'd have that there. And in both places, they would all synchronize.
So so I choose that and then I update to radio menu, I should be able to see it on my little radio tool. Is what you're saying.
Right. hmm
Okay.
Yeah, so we've tried to make that all kind of homogenize. I want to show you an additional tool. Let's select the microphone icon, the Cortana icon in the right-hand corner of the Docker. So on the
right here?
layout editor, yep,
Okay.
yep, that one right there. Select that one, and then let's change the keyboard shortcut to Win Shift H. So you're just going to go up to the modifiers line and add the word shift. Yep. Now update to radio menu. And let's do something. Let's make this white because it's a little hard to see. So go to the Appearance tab. It says Action and Appearance near the top. Yep. And then we're going to change the font color. So right now it's blue. Click there and let's select white. All right. Good. And then we have to go back and click on Update to Radio menu. We have the new version coming out later today. Should have that on the Appearance tab, so you don't have to go back and forth.
Okay.
So we have that. Okay, so let's go ahead and close the layout editor. Good. And then let's draw something on the screen.
Just anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oop.
Okay, now let's select the microphone icon. But before you do that, once it's selected, you're going to say the word select all.
You want me to do what now?
I'm so bossy. All right, so you're going to press that, but then you're going to say the word select all.
Gotcha. Select all. And
Ta-da!
it did in fact do it. That's cool.
Now
So-
you can
So
do that again.
this is a key feature though right here, like the ability to tell it what you want it to do rather than configure all the buttons. You've literally worked into here the ability to use your voice to select all sorts of different tools or do all sorts of different tasks.
Right, and this works without the internet, which is a really big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do that same thing and say delete.
Okay. All right, so we just selected all, and now we're going to delete. Wow.
So that, I know, I think that was super cool. I was walking around I have a Surface Go 2, and so I was walking around and I was like, okay, what things are really difficult to do? Well, like handwriting out a long string of text or a URL, it's a pain in the butt, super hard. So part of the thing that the voice command tool does is it lets you do text expansion or open websites or apps or send hotkeys. So let's go ahead and create a text expansion snippet. So let's open that again. And once it's open, we're just going to click on the list icon.
So you open it. You don't have to say something. You can instead click this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually handwrite into that panel also and have it expand out. So let's do two things. So there's two tabs here, Current Preset and General. In Current Preset, we're going to click on Import Current Preset, which is going to import everything from the artist pad. And then let's select the General tab. Good. Now, voice command, let's say website. Good. And then action type. Let's select. You can do, you notice that there's a number of different things there, but let's do open site. Yeah, and then let's type in tabletpro.com. www.tabletpro.com.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. And you can handwrite that in, and you'll see how long and difficult this is to do.
Oh, phabletpro.com. That's my bad handwriting that's causing that issue. There we go.
All right. So then you're going to do add to list. All right. Let's add one more. Let's do email, and then we'll have this do text expansion. Yep, and then you can put in send text. And then you can put, it can be a fake email or whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then add to list. Good. Okay. All right, let's close this. And then let's use the mouse pointer, the radio menu, and the pointer at the very top so that we have something to input. And let's put the typing cursor on the screen somewhere. Oh, you have a setting off here. Go to the File menu. Go down to Options. Go to Advanced. Automatically switch between inking, selecting, typing, and pairing inside a pen. It's the third option down. Yep, and then click OK. And obviously you can turn that on again if you decide not to. So now when you tap there with the type tool, it won't switch. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open up the voice command, and you can say the word email.
So basically what we're doing here is, like, say you're using this inside like your email application, your browser, or just in your notes, and you constantly are sending people your email address, you're constantly doing different things. That's what we're doing here, is we're creating a shortcut key to quickly drop those types of things in, even without a keyboard. Is
correct?
Okay.
Yep.
Email. There we go.
Yep. Yeah. And then let's try the website one.
Website.
Pretty snazzy. I think that's super cool.
Yeah. What what use cases do you see people using that in?
So I have a handful of friends that are realtors, a handful of friends who do like construction, land surveying, electricians, and stuff like that. And so they're walking around and they're using a tablet. And the ones that have iPads, they've got some nice features, but they're really not like super practical, and they work consistently slowly. And you know what you're getting, right? And so with this, I'm like, okay, well, if you're walking around and you're holding your tablet with one hand, or you're sitting in your car, like setting up the keyboard and everything, that's not the simplest way to get work done. But that's what we've been forced to do. And so I want people to be able to walk around and go, okay, hey, I'm a realtor, and I want to bring up my website for the MLS or something like that, or I'm a construction person and I have to order some parts or whatever. Instead of typing everything in, you're just standing there. You press a button, then you say a word, and you're on your website.
Yeah.
Or you're sending.
So this really brings us back to what we were talking about at the beginning. A lot of people aren't using their tablets to their full capability because they're constantly in the crutch of having to switch modes all the time. And what this lets you
Yeah,
do is stay in that mode the entire time. Or if you're carrying around like a Surface Pro or something, you don't even need the type cover if you've got your workflow
right.
nailed down inside this software.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you get your workflow figured out here, and instead of the tablet functioning at like 10% while you're holding it, is operating in a lot of situations. If your setup is operating faster than when you were using a keyboard, it's tremendously more useful and more practical this way.
Awesome.
So one of the other things that it does, and I won't go into all the different features because I think that's a bit of overkill, but one of the other things is the full screen trackpad. And so let's go back to the main panel and let me show you guys how to get there. Let me show you how to get there. You can use that and then the main panel there, but there's also on the in the hidden task tray, there's a little icon that you can click on. Just drag it down right next to the arrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
make it static. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Then when you tap on it once, it'll open the panel. If the panel is not centered, it will center the panel.
Okay. Yeah. So if that's closed and you're in here, you tap this and it brings you.
And you can pin it. Yeah, you can pin it to the taskbar as well, and it's either way is fine.
That's cool. That's
Okay,
good to
so
know.
yeah, on the left side there's a full screen trackpad mode. So you can double click on that in the presets. So we have OneNote selected, and above OneNote is the word full screen trackpad mode.
So I've got
Scroll. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Right there.
Yeah, so double click on that.
Okay.
All right, now you have a trackpad. This is a transparent trackpad that goes over the whole screen. So if you put your finger on the screen, you can use all of your mouse commands.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's actually this.
Let me switch to here so people can kind of see how that's working. So as I move I'm basically just using a big mouse trackpad. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's change a setting because there's certain versions of Windows can get a little laggy with a certain setting on. So go to the touch settings on the bottom right-hand corner. So there's the star, there's settings and touch.
Oh, I'm in the mouse mode. I guess I need to use the mouse.
Yeah, that part's actually a little tricky to get used to. Okay, and then click on the gear icon. Yeah, if you're using like a smaller screen, this is a lifesaver. It's super useful. Okay, and reduce pointer move lag after Windows 10. So the checkbox right there, uncheck that and click apply.
Oh yeah, that's a lot smoother.
Yeah, way smoother. There's certain applications where you need to change one more setting, and it's listed right there. So there's the mouse property. So if you had trouble, you could click on the mouse property thing. So that checkbox you just checked, right underneath is kind of a purple font mouse property. Yeah, that, but you'd go to the third tab, pointer options, and then you'd turn on display pointer trails and bring that to left. We don't need to do that because it's working fine. And you'd bring it all the way to short. So if you were still having lag issues, that's what you would do. We're not going to do that.
Okay.
You can just keep it on. You can cancel. Yeah. All right, let's change one other thing so people can really see what's going on here. Let's go back one level here in these settings. And then full screen mode, let's scroll down. So you should be able to use 2 fingers to scroll down. Yep, same way as you would on a trackpad. Opacity of buttons, let's bring that up to 50%. And then click apply. So this full screen mode actually has a couple buttons on the screen. So on the very left is a Cortana button.
Okay.
On the very right, you can see Control, Alt, and Shift and a task switcher. And then right down on the bottom, you can see there's a microphone or a keyboard button. And you can place buttons on here to do certain things. And then on the right, above the keyboard button, is a minimize function for the full screen mode. Yeah. So if you have the keyboard up and you tap on that, then you can use the keyboard, or you can touch the screen and you can go quickly back and forth.
That's actually super useful, because what I found is like I wanted to still use my touch at times, and then other times I wanted to use the mouse. So with this little thing on the side, it switches. Okay, now I'm using it as a mouse pad. I click that button again, and now I have my touch capability as normal. That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can the full screen mode can do, I think it's like 45 different gesture combinations. So like a 3-finger tap on the screen or a 2-finger pinch, you can have it do a copy or a paste or send, launch an application. There's a lot of different things you can do there. But the basics, the simple part is that you can do any of your mouse controls. You can do like middle mouse click plus Alt and Shift, and make that a button on the screen, and do just do certain mouse things that you couldn't do before without a keyboard and a mouse.
That's awesome. I think this addresses like a lot of the frustrations that people have when they're getting used to their workflow for drawing, for CAD, for lots of different things. It's very flexible. It can do. I mean, if you look at the list here, there's just a huge number of applications that this can work for from like you're talking realtors, people signing PDFs, whatever. They have their workflows, but also digital artists, and being able to switch between tools, being able to hold a shift key without actually needing the keyboard. Just really cool software. Very impressive.
Thanks. Let's do one more demonstration. Let's go to Rebelle. And if you have a program and it's not in this list, it only takes like a minute or two to add. On the right side of the main panel is our tutorials, and it shows you how to do all these different things.
So on the main panel, there's all these video tutorials, is what you're saying here.
Yeah. If you click on the word beginner, it has a list of tutorials there. So create new preset is what you do. If you didn't see your application there, it takes like a minute to set it up for a different application.
Very cool.
All right, so Rebelle, let's select back in that panel. Let's switch it a little bit.
The main panel?
The studio. Yeah, the main panel. So let's select Barrel, and let's choose Radio Menu. This should be selected by default in future. And then the touch mode type, right underneath there, about 5 options. Let's select Small, Artist Pad Small. Yep, there we go. Okay, and let's close this and go back to Rebelle. I don't know if Rebelle is set up quite right yet, but let's give it a shot. Let's select in the bottom left-hand corner above the blue microphone icon on the artist pad. There's, tablet mode. Let's press that. Let's see. All right, let's do the radio menu first, because that's really basically what we're looking at here. Okay, so um, select the pen icon to the left. There we go, and draw. All right, and then radio menu. And then there's the white icon directly underneath. This is control. So control will hold down so you can then drag your stylus and resize the brush. So, yeah, and drag to the right or left. Tap, now drag.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's holding control down, which is actually really difficult to do in tablet situations.
And now my brush is thicker. So you're drawing,
Yeah.
you've got a thick brush. You want to switch it and slim it down. I now am using a thinner brush.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
fast.
Yeah.
All right, so then switch to the eraser.
Can I do the same thing
And
here? Make it bigger.
mm-hmm.
There we go. Get a big eraser so I can erase through things.
Yeah, and then let's choose a color picker.
Is that this one right here?
Nope, bottom right corner.
Oh, yep.
Tap, tap. Yep. So it's nice and
Oh,
fast.
yeah. There we go. Okay, yeah. So that's a color picker right there in Rebelle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're painting, you can easily grab different colors you've previously used out of it.
All right, let's do one more thing here. Then you have the panel toggle feature, which takes a little getting used to, but when you do it, it saves you about half of your clicks. So if you open up the swatch panel, that's that very top one. Once you click once, it will close that panel by sending the hotkey again. So really useful, really saves you a lot of time. If you want to adjust the panel itself without the quick closing option, then just open it up on the artist pad. So yeah, there's that red palette thing, and then you can
right
click around and adjust things. You can click around and adjust things, and then that quick panel, that panel toggle will work.
Uh-huh.
Well. Yeah, so I'll talk you through one more, little bit of the settings for that, and then I think that'll probably be way more than enough information for everybody.
Sure.
Okay, so let's open up the mini editor.
This.
Yeah, so if you open it up from the radio menu, it'll load the radio menu. If you open it up from the artist pad, it won't necessarily start it that way. Okay, so here, let's tap on the hand icon in the Docker. It's the third one.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's go up. It says the key is space. Right next to it, it says the word single use. Space right there. If you click there on space, it'll show you the list of available options. It's a big list. So all sorts of things that you can select. We're going to look actually at single use. So right here, this is one of the most powerful things on the radio menu. Single use means that it'll press it and hold it until you use your stylus once, or until you pull the stylus away from the screen. Hold sticky toggle. This only works in some situations, not all situations, but that'll hold it down until you use it again. And the panel toggle, that will press the key twice and let you use the stylus once in between. So that's the one that we were just using.
Gotcha.
So it'll press F3, you select something with the stylus, and then it presses F3 again, opening and then closing something like a panel in an app. Do not hold, just sends it once, just like you tap the key on the keyboard. So for something like space where you're using it to pan on the screen, you want it to hold it down. And so that's what that does. For zoom, like if you have the Z key, so if you select the microphone or the magnifying glass next to the hand on the Docker, you'll see that it's Z key set to single use. So anyway, that's that's a little bit of information that will help people.
Yeah, that's good to know what those actually do there. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay. Well, I think that'll be of interest to a lot of the viewers of this channel to be able to kind of maximize their workflows and basically get things done. You know, either as a digital artist
Yeah.
or just someone who has a tablet. You know, it's kind of the point. I mean,
Mhm.
Tablet Pro Studio. There you go. So very cool stuff.
Yeah. So we just released it. So so what I've been trying to get longtime users to do is to rate it up in the Microsoft Store. That's a big deal. And then we're also doing a promotion. So the app has 3 options for purchase. There's 2 subscription options, and then I'm doing a really big discount on the lifetime license. I know that some people, including myself, are not a huge fan of subscription models, but it helps. It helps us to develop the app consistently, as well as just providing stable income for my family because some months are much lower and some months are okay. So right now we're doing a 60% discount on the lifetime license. So the subscription is $5 a month or $30 a year or $100 for the lifetime license. And right now we're doing 60% off. So that means the lifetime license is $39 or $40.
Very cool. Yeah, so we'll leave links in the description below for anyone who's interested in taking advantage of all this and getting to use some really cool software. I'm excited. I'm happy to have it on my machine here to play around with. So
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Cameron. And then there's a free trial, 1 week free trial for people who are wanting to test it out and want to make sure it works for your machine.
very cool. Well, thanks for being on the channel with us today, and I'm sure we'll be doing some interesting videos soon. So it's always good to have you.
All
Thanks.
right, thanks, Cameron. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.